Okay, so I've got the here we are building the mini tool bench. Here we are with the mini tool bench. I've got the OSB board glued down and screwed down onto the frame, and now I'm gluing the main boards, the 2x4s that are going to run across the top as the second layer, actually the third layer, because the bottom layer is this compressed sawdust. So I've got these down with the adhesive, and I'm ready to I've got them clamped in, and now I'm ready to screw the first board in. That'll be the runner along the front. So here it is. We'll let this cure overnight. I'm probably overdoing it in terms of the amount of weights and clamps and stuff. We've got the polyurethane 3X. That's this stuff right here. The polyurethane 3X formula that is really provides a very strong adhesion. So I use that because I'm gluing it onto the OSB and the screws really won't hold that tight. But I want a really good tight fix, so it'll be one stiff piece for my top. Okay, so here we are with the tool bench with the 2x4s all glued down, screwed in tight, weights removed. So I'm ready to plane this down, make it pretty smooth, and then I'm going to put these two boards right here on. I think these are about 3/8 thickness of OSB board. And then after that I'm going to put on this guy right here, which will be an old piece of plywood that I've got as the top. So it's probably approximately about 2 foot by 4 foot, and this thing is about 22 inches by 35, so be plenty of room left. Here's a close-up of, you can see these beads of polystyrene adhesive, the Loctite polystyrene. You can see how it's pretty thick right in there, as well as here on the ends. Alright, I've got my 2x4s all planed down. I used my Bosch electric planer. I went this way, longitudinal, and then I went across it too, and kind of made sure it was all taken care of. There is one spot here someplace, I think right there, I might have leaned down a little bit too much and took off some of the extra right in there. But yeah, you can see here how when I came to the edge I probably had bared down on it, particularly right here. That's the spot where I've bared down too much. You can see that's not so good. But I can fix that up with some adhesive. So it's pretty good and plain. It's kind of level, I think. Now I'm going to sand it to get it smooth. Okay, so now I've got it sanded. I used a coarse grade, very coarse grades sand paper on my belt sander, and you can see here it's nice and smooth. I think I went across both longitudinal and cross, and I think it's in pretty good shape. So we're now ready for the next step. Now for this step here, I've got it planed and sanded, so now I'm ready to take off this adhesive that bubbled out. It is very strong polystyrene 3X strength polyurethane adhesive, which is great stuff, but it does come out and expand. So I want to get this out because I'm going to put a board along here, and I want this to be all nice and level. Same thing down here on this end. There's a little bit, maybe not quite as much, but get this all cleaned off, and we'll be ready to put the next board Alright, now we've got this all cut off nice and smooth. You can see here. I can put a board right on there, right along there to form the side edge. Alright then, I've sanded this top down after I had glued these on and held them down with the weights. I sanded them down. You can see it's pretty smooth there. I don't know. Yeah, I've got that. I sanded that off this morning, so it was really smooth. Now, I had those boards sticking out. There are the individual 2x4s were coming through, so I cut a piece of wood to fit right on top of this. So I trimmed that off and put this piece of wood right there laying, and then I did that on each side. So there's a nice piece there, and the bottom has the OSB underneath there, so it'll form a nice, it'll form one continuous piece there. What I did with on the side was I wanted to have one continuous piece of OSB underneath for when I use my clamps. On the top will go the thin piece of plywood will be up here, but on the sides is the board that I put underneath there. So under here it'll all be just one continuous piece. Same thing on this side down here, one continuous piece same thing on this side down here. I have one continuous piece of the OSB underneath, and then I've got this little piece of wood that I've cut that'll fit right down here. Once again, that plywood will go right over the top of this. Now there was a piece, I had a groove in here. I had to cut out an extra piece of little wood and fit that in there because my my OSB wasn't quite long enough. It was off by about 3/8 of an inch or so. So you can see right there that I've got that that piece put in there to cover up the hole where the OSB was at. As far as what I use for this, I use my 3X premium polyurethane Loctite formula. So I wanted that to be really tight. You can see some of these pieces sticking out because when I cut that, I cut it a little bit too slightly too short, so I had to shove some pieces of wood in there, some shims in there, and that polyurethane will make it all really tight bond. I want it to be a really tight bond on here so that it can it won't fall apart or crack under pressure. Now to secure these boards in here, this board here and this little guy back here, this groove, I used my staple gun, using different sizes of staples. Here's my rigid staple gun right here. Here's my rigid. Now to secure these boards on here, I used staples. You can see here, I don't know, I got about 1.5 inches in there right now that I used there. I wanted to go in really deep, so not so long as staples back here, but on these sides I wanted to go in really deep and be very secure. So I'll come out in the morning and this will be all okay. I'm ready now for the final steps. I've got this board right here cut, and that's going to go in the front. I've got this all sanded down. I trimmed off the sides with the saw a little bit. I may need to sand it. I may have to do some more trim work on that later, but they're in pretty good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 3X adhesive on this, and then we'll put the top on. Now this adhesive, this 3X adhesive right here, has been the Loctite 3X adhesive. This has been applied all along here, just on the front, and I'm going to now secure that on there first with a clamp, and then I will screw it in. That's there so that I'll have a place to put my clamps on the front of the tool bench, and so it's going to be exactly even with this with these side pieces, so I can clamp evenly all around. Okay, so I have the adhesive, the 3X polyurethane adhesive on there. I've clamped it with multiple clamps all the way across, doing up and bottom. And then I started to staple these, so you can see here I've used a 2-inch staple and put that through there. That'll go in there enough just to hold it so it doesn't wobble around. Eventually I'll put some screws on here, but there we go. The 3X polyurethane has been all applied. Adhesive has been applied, and now I've drilled 4 screws, 3-inch deep screws in there, this board, so that'll secure this right here to the inside beams that will provide the strength, and this will make a good solid board for me to use as a vise or whatever I want to use it for on the tool bench. So you can see I've got those in there pretty deep, and I'll cover them up with the polyurethane adhesive. And here's how she's looking. Okay, I've got the 2x4 secured in place, sanded off the top. It's all dry, good and smooth. It is now ready to put this nice board on here, this approximately 2 by 3 foot piece of old plywood. I'm putting the weathered side on because it's got the fewest knots on it, and I'm going to fix it on with the heavy-duty polyurethane. Here's the PL 375 heavy-duty Loctite adhesive that I'll use to put this board down with, and then I'll use my staple gun to staple it in place.